bursting out of the pages of NZV8 magazine. V8 trivia. Who made the largest production car V8? We'll get back to the end of the show on that. But in the meantime, this is NZV8TV. Brought to you by Smiths Group, suppliers of leading automotive brands. And GT Radials, superior performance at an affordable price. On the show, it's circuit racing car porn. Forget supercars, this thing's an Uber car. And with more on-track muscle, we featured two special cars from both the Northern Muscle Car Series and the production muscle cars. In the first edition of NZV8TV, we previewed what I reckon was one of the coolest race cars in New Zealand, Kevin McGregor's Pontiac GTO drag car. Well, we found the circuit racing equivalent, and this is a car that I am seriously excited about. Nick Chester's Plumbing GT1 Holden Commodore. This summer has seen the emergence of an exciting new race category called GT1. Basically, GT1 lets you throw away the rulebook and build any car you like as fast as you like. Mate, I fell in love with this car the moment I first saw it, and I've run out of... I've got too many superlatives to describe it. So, first of all, where did this thing come from? Where did the idea come from? And, just tell us about where the car evolved from.
The car was originally built by Team Dynamic in Adelaide. It was going to be their fourth supercar that they built, but they ran out of money. So the chassis and everything was probably 70% finished, but when we took it over, then we sort of modified it from there to turn it is what it is now, with bigger tyres and bigger guards and a bit lighter and everything else that sort of goes with it, really. I mean, this chassis was sitting there and we thought, well, it's just like a bare piece of paper. You can just do with it whatever you want, really.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like a supercar with total disregard for the rules, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So who designed the car? I mean, obviously the chassis is based on a VZ Commodore supercar chassis, but the rest of the design, the spec, where did all that come from?
They did a lot of research and they tried to get a few ideas from a lot of DTM cars in Europe, as far as like the aero and a lot of the other stuff that goes with it. Sort of they looked at Michelin tyres were the tyres that they wanted to put on the car, so they had to make them fit. So there was a lot of work involved in doing that, and so a lot of Europe ideas, I suppose you could say.
Now, as I said before, it's kind of a supercar with disregard for the rules. I mean, was there anything that you would have liked to have done to the car that you didn't, or was basically just open slather?
Open slather, pretty much. I can't think of anything that we haven't done that we didn't want to do, to be honest.
Awesome. I mean, that's what's cool about GT1, isn't it? There's no rules. I've got to be honest, mate, that is automotive sex. Tell us all about this engine, what it is, and most importantly, how much grunt's it got.
Well, I suppose I'll start at the top. It's a HRT Walkinshaw airbox, Holden Motorsport heads. It's all alloy block. It's all aftermarket Chevy components, really. Nothing Holden in it whatsoever. It's 6.8 litre, about 760 horse and 615 foot-pounds of torque.
Some fairly serious numbers there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What was the intention with this engine? Were you aiming for just outright horsepower or torque, or what was the thinking with the design of it?
We just wanted basically just a really flat torque band. It's got from just over 4,000 RPM to 7. It's got over 600 foot-pounds of torque, and it just means you can just use any gear in any corner, and it just keeps on pulling.
Awesome.
And it just makes it easy to drive, and it's just awesome.
Good stuff. And one thing I'm really impressed with on this car, Nick, and I really do appreciate in race cars, is a race car that's built with attention to detail and made to look good. And one thing you've got to look at here, all the fittings, all the lines, all the carbon fibre work, mate, it's just absolutely beautiful. Who did all that work on the car?
It was all the guys at Team Dynamic. They did it all in house pretty much, and the project took 2 years to build, so they had the time to do it all properly, and it really shows. It's all pretty much supercar geometry. We didn't really want to move too far away from it because it's pretty much a proven point. It works well, we could have gone bigger on tyres, but it would have ruined the geometry of the car, and it probably wouldn't go as good as it does. So yeah, we didn't want to steer too far away from what's known, really.
Yeah, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
This car really is a race car engineer's nirvana. A project with no time constraints and the freedom to use every bit of high-tech gear and every cool idea you've ever had. Well, here we are inside, Nick. It's, to be honest, like the space shuttle in here, but show us around your office and tell us what it all does.
Where do you start? There's so much. Obviously, a steering wheel here, which has got all the pit lane speed limits, all the controls, which look after the screen on the dash. I've already got all the spare pump switches, indicators, rain lights, headlights all over here. That's the traction control dial as to how much slip I want for the traction control, which is basically how much speed difference I want between the front and rear wheels.
So you can actually alter that as you're driving?
Yep, absolutely. Obviously got the Hollinger gearbox, same as what the supercars run.
And are you running the new sequential box or the H pattern?
Yeah, sequential box, it's beautiful. And then obviously you've got your sway bar adjustments here, 2 for the front, 1 for the rear. A few more switches for the helmet fan and cool suit. And then you go down to all the expensive stuff, which is the Motec M800 and all the data logging and ignition. Down here is the helmet fan, which pumps cool filtered air into the helmet, which is bloody nice actually. Over the back here we've got the fire bomb and just fuel lines, all lines, and just the mounting point for the little chili bin, which runs through my cool suit to keep me cool on the hot days.
And cool is certainly the operative word. Now, talking about looking like the space shuttle, Nick, I don't know what's going on in the boot here, but mate, what is all this ducting?
Well, we call that the crazy robot, which is actually, it's got an oil cooler inside there, which sucks air from inside the cabin through a couple of fans through the oil cooler and out the back of the car, just helps that oil-to-water cooler that we've got, which doesn't quite do enough for us. That's a dry sump tank there with a filter on it, a couple of Bosch Motorsport pumps there.
And what capacity tank have you got in it?
120 litre.
It is 120.
Yeah, so we could do endurance racing if we want to. We'll just see how we go.
I don't know how popular you'd be if you turned up in New Zealand endurance racing with this thing. Obviously, one of the most obvious differences with this car to a regular supercar is its appearance. It's wider, it's fatter, it's tougher, and the aero on it is just mental. I mean, is this a wing or a surfboard hanging off the back of the thing?
Yeah, you could be confused quite easily. The wing is off a Lamborghini Murcielago GT1 car out of Europe. It's about the widest wing that we could find, and it does a hell of a good job. The first wing we put on the car actually had too much downforce, and it collapsed the uprights going down the back straight. And so since then we've made our own uprights and got a new wing on it, and it does the business. It does a great job. Have you got any idea how much downforce this thing's actually producing? Yeah, some of the numbers I've heard, it's a maximum rake of sort of 2 tonne at 270 k's. So theoretically, with a car that weighs 1.3 tonnes, you could drive it upside down. Yeah, you could do. You won't want to try that though. So not quite as extreme as what's hanging off the back of the car, but what have we got at the front here, Nick? The front, it's a standard front supercar front bar, and we've just got some alloy which extends the front lip and some side fences on it, and that just helps with the downforce, just creates more downforce by more air going over the front bar than going underneath it, so it actually makes a big difference. Well, Nick, we've talked plenty about the specs. Let's talk about how it goes, mate. What's this thing like to drive? Oh, it is so much fun. This is just an absolute animal. The throttle control plays a big part of it. The old Evo, coming into the corner, you'd almost be standing on the throttle hard out to get the boost up, so when you're coming out of it, it was there. But with this, you're just coming out of the corner and you just got to feed it on real slow, because if you give it too much, it just lights up the bags and you go nowhere. Big change from four-wheel drive to nearly 800 horsepower and only the rear wheels, isn't it? Absolutely. And performance-wise, what tracks have you driven it at so far, and what sort of times has it done? We've had a go at Pukekohe and Manfield. Pukekohe, we've done a 55.3. At Manfield, we've done a mid-7, which the setup wasn't quite right at Manfield. 55s at Pookie and 7s at Manfield, that is insanely fast, and I'm sure there's more to come, and as you get used to the car, there's plenty more to come as well. Yeah, absolutely, I'm sure. Cool. Hey, well, Nick Chester, thanks very much for your time, and thank you very much for building such an awesome car and bringing it to New Zealand. And look out for Nick Chester and the Chester's Plumbing GT1 Commodore at a track near you. And at the risk of repeating myself, I really do love this car. Awesome work, Nick. And if ever there was a car worthy of being in the pages of NZV8 magazine, it was this. Look out for it in a future edition. Need new tyres? Thanks to GT Radials, NZV8TV has a set of 17-inch Champ Aero HPZs worth over $1,300 to give away this week. All you need to do is check out the NZV8 website, v8.co.nz, and hit the Win Stuff button for the info. Good luck, and keep checking back for more awesome prizes on the website from our sponsors.